Am I audible? Can you hear me, Victoria?
Yes, you can. I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me too?
The session is
Can
not
you hear
live yet.
me as well?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. All right.
Okay, it is from my. Okay, I think your network.
Can you hear me, Victoria?
All right.
Victoria, can you
Yes,
hear
yes, I
me?
can. I can hear you. Can as well. Yes, I
Okay.
can. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can. All right. Good morning, everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you for joining our live session today. My name is Olawumi from Team Consultancy UK, and I have another colleague of mine on this live today. So, you're going to be seeing more of us on this live now, this live session now. So, yeah, I have another beautiful face on this live today. Um, Today we're going to be talking about a very important part of your process, which is the precast interview. But before we dive in, I would let my colleague here introduce herself. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Victoria from Team Consultancy, and I'm also a student counselor. Thank you, Laomi, for
Very
having
good.
me here.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that. So, guys, if you're joining this live for the very first time, this is the live session where we talk about everything that has to do with your study in the UK, right? You want to study in the UK, you have no idea how to proceed, you don't know what to do. Please, when you join this our live, immediately you join the live, if you check the comments, you're going to see a link. So you book a link with us. When you book a link with us, that way we'll be able to have like a one-on-one session with you where we look at your profile and then we help you. But the good part about this whole thing is that our process is 100% free. I've always been saying this, but I need to keep saying it because at the end of the day, not everybody gets to know this, right? I still get people that reach when they reach out to us for the first time, their question is, please, how much is your agency fee? Let me know if I want to proceed with you people or not. But you have nothing to worry about because our process is completely free. So now, starting with today's topic, precast interview. So if you're going for September intake, I know that, and you have paid your deposits, I know that you're already at that stage where you're planning to do your interview. At the same time, we have some students who have also done their interview by this time already. And then some students are planning to do their precast interview. So that is why we choose to discuss this today because we know that, if you are already at this stage and you are in this life right now, you're going to get one or two information that will be useful today. So now let's talk about what is precast interview. Precast interview by itself. I'm going to allow my colleague here share a view about precast interview. So Victoria, can you please help us with what is precast interview?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. So when we are talking about precast interview, it is an interview that is being conducted by the UK university before issuing a CAS. And I know some of our students will be wondering what's the meaning of CAS. CAS is a confirmation of acceptance for studies. So this purpose is to know whether a student is a genuine applicant that understands the chosen course he or she wants, or the university and their future career plans. So that's the meaning of precast interview.
All right, very good. Like you have heard from my colleague, that is what precast interview is. So, one thing I would like to add to this is that precast interview is not designed to scare the students. It is not designed to set you up for failure. No, like she has rightly said, they just want to know, they want to understand if you are a genuine student, right? The university, they want to be able to understand, do you even understand the process? Do you even know what you want to come to the UK to do? Right? So that is the whole point
True.
of precast interview. It is not designed to scare you, it is not designed to set you up for failure. Right? I have some students right now that, oh, I would have started my process already, but I mean, a lot of schools now do precast interview. For this reason, I'm scared. You're scared of precast interview. So here at Team Consultancy, honestly, there's nothing to be scared about. I've said this before and I'm going to still say it again. We have a dedicated team for our precast interview, right? The moment you get to that stage, we are going to book you with our team. They have, series of precast interview mock with you, mock precast interview. We will do this with you to the point where we are sure that, okay, you are good to go, right? You are ready to face the school now to do your precast interview. So if your interview with the school is pre-recorded, for some schools it is pre-recorded, for some schools you have somebody actually talking to you on the other side. Whatever way the precast interview for that school is designed, we will help you through it. We will prepare you for success. And at the end of the day, all our students pass their precast interview. So for us, here at Team Consultancy, precast interview is absolutely nothing to be worried about. So my second point today would be, why are students scared of precast interview? Why do students panic when they hear precast interview? So I feel like for me, my number one, view about this is, students just automatically feel like, oh, I'm going to fail this interview. They are so scared, of doing their interview because, I mean, what do they even do there? What am I supposed to tell them? These are some of the reasons why students panic when they hear precast interview. And honestly, it is nothing to be worried about, like I've said before. So, Victoria, please, can you share your own experience? You've dealt with a lot of students. Why do you think students panic about precast interview?
Okay, thank you for this question. Do you know that there are times that when I attend to students and the first question they ask me is, does this school actually do precast interview? I'm like, okay, hold on. You don't need to be scared. In our team, we actually help students to prepare. So I feel like first thing is, as a student, you need to prepare. So lack of preparation can actually make them scared. Do you get? If you're not prepared for something, you're going to be scared. So the only thing you can do is, okay, you want to go for this particular course. Know about the course. That is one thing. Know about the course. What does it entail? Because we have modules online that you can go through everything. You want to go for project management, for example, and you don't know about the course. Why won't you be scared? But if you actually prepare more, you won't be scared. And I feel like there are some people that they forget informations. So that's too, they can worry about it. So they can be scared of that as well. Like lack of forgetting information. Maybe they read something and when they get to the interview, they're like, oh God, I've forgotten. That can actually scare them as well. So lack of preparation, forgetting information, and giving incorrect answers can actually make them scared.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. So, like she has said, honestly, the one thing I know that The one reason I know students panic when they hear precast interview is honestly just lack of preparation. And then some students also
Yeah,
lack information. They don't have the right information. A student who has the right
I agree.
information can still fail because they did not prepare. But trust me, some students don't
Sure.
even know what they call precast interview. They have no information. They don't even know, oh, maybe the part of the questions they ask is, oh, why the course, why the university. They have no information about it, right? So we will still get to that point where we're going to share our real life scenario. But before we get to that point, I know that some students have no idea about what precast interview is. So for this reason, because they just hear the word interview, that's enough reason for them to get scared. So now we're moving into most common, the common precast interview questions. I say common because even if every school have their own process, they have what they ask student and all of that. There are just some key questions that no school would miss that question, right? So those are like the most common questions. So now we're going to discuss the most common question, and I'll start with the number one: why the course? Why did you choose the course? So we've had a lot of sessions here, and I keep telling students that just because your friend is studying one course does not mean you are fit to study that particular course as well. Because trust me, before you get to the point where you want to do precast interview, starting from your application, everything has to align. That is the reason why we profile you. When we say we are profiling you, when we say we are reviewing your document, what do you think we're doing? When we say we want to match you with the right course, what do you think we're doing? Right? So those are the things that we do. Why this course? Because even by yourself, you need to be able to understand, why am I going to study this course? Right? If you are making a career switch, maybe your course is not related to your academic background. It was not what you studied previously. But I mean, it has something to do with your work experience. So yes, maybe I studied this, in school, but now I work as a cybersecurity manager or something, and I want to go for cybersecurity so that it will help me in my career. Now your career is cybersecurity, but maybe previously you had studied English language, but now you work as a cybersecurity expert, and then I want to proceed to study cybersecurity. Even you yourself, you know that with this small explanation, it just makes sense that you want to proceed to study cybersecurity because that's your career now. That is what you currently do, right? So when they ask you why this course, without reading from anywhere, without cracking your head, you are just supposed to be saying a lot of things, right? You're just supposed to be talking because everything aligns. The course you chose to study and all of your, document and all of that, everything just aligns. So when they ask you why the course, you know the things to say. You know there is consistency in your story. You know that it aligns. It helps you to be able to know what to say when you get to that point, right? I'm going to allow Victoria to also give us an example of the most common, commonly asked questions, and now you're going to answer that. Victoria, can you please take over now?
Okay. So, so concerning your first answer, which is why did you choose the course? Why did you choose the course? Not because your friend actually chose the course. That's the reason why you're saying, oh, I want to go for project management. My friend is also going for it. Let me go for it. Then when you now get to the precast section, you'll be lost. So you need to know the reason why you are choosing the university, which you're actually correct. You need to know why you are choosing the course because you need to give details. You cannot say you want to go for cybersecurity and you don't know anything about the course. That is, it's not going anywhere. You don't know it's like. I'm a science student, for example, and I want to go into arts and I don't even have any idea about it. So you need to have a knowledge about the university, about the course, and is it relating to your work experience? That's why we ask people that what is your work experience? How many years is it? Is it when you have maybe you're working in an office and it's related to what you're actually doing now. I'm very sure when they ask you questions, it will not be very, very difficult for you to answer. So we they ask you what are the costs, or is it related to your work experience now, and how would you fund your studies as well. They ask that kind of questions. How would you fund your studies? Where are you going to get your funds from? And they ask that, why do you want to study in the UK? That is the most important question. Why do you want to study in the UK? Because they'll be like, why don't you study here in Nigeria? Why do you want to come and study in the UK? So I think that's the most common questions.
Okay, so I'm going to add more to the second question she mentioned. Why did you choose this university? So some of you,
Yeah.
for the longest time, before you even start your process at all, you've had this university in mind, right? Oh, you just know the
Mm.
name of the university, that is all. That is it. A lot of you don't even know the exact location of your university in the UK. You don't know if your university is in Scotland, if it is in Wales, right? You don't know where your
Okay.
university is in the UK. You have no knowledge about this university. So when they ask you why the university, what do? You go more into the details of that university. So they know that before the student has come up with, oh, I want to go with this school, they actually know what they are doing, right? You talk about the course content. Okay, for this particular school, these are the modules they provide. This is their career support system. These are the facilities in this school. Oh, I even heard about a lecturer that is currently doing a research about this, so, things like that. There's no how you're going to talk like this and then even the school or whoever that is interviewing you at that point would not know that, okay, these students actually know their onions, they did their research, right? They are not just, this is not something they have given to somebody to do for them. They know what they are doing. So at the end of the day, when we say preparation is very important, preparation is key when it comes to your precast interview. This is what we are talking about, because if you don't prepare yourself, there's no how you're going to have all of these
Very important.
informations handy. There's no how you're going to be able to share these informations during your interview. So now I'll be moving to the common mistakes students make when they are at this stage during your precast interview, the common mistakes that student makes. And then my number one mistake is student memorize. You cram your responses, right? So one thing I would say is that in fact, for the longest time now, I know that there is a difference between actually knowing something and then cramming, right? You are just putting everything in your head, because when I sit with you to talk to you and then you're not talking to me based off what you know, you are just trying to, oh, yes, I chose the UK because, and then you are pausing to remember. No, that's a red flag. You can't do that. So part of the mistakes student makes at this point is you cram your responses, you cram your answers. So the thing is, when you know it, it is different from cramming it. Why did you choose this course? Why this
Yeah.
university? Why the UK? You just have to be able to prepare yourself for the answers. Okay, now I want this particular school because of the kind of facility they provide and all of that. Where is that school? The school is in the UK. So I mean, it is one reason why I have to like study in the UK, because of this particular school and the kind of facilities they provide. There are a lot of other things, and at the same time there are generic responses. Generic responses means that if you type on Google now or you type on ChatGPT, those are like the first kind of response that pops up. It is something everybody says. So I tell students, when you want to like give an answer, even if it is a generic response, make sure you are relating it back to yourself. Make sure you're connecting it back to your story, right? Because that way you've been able to personalize your response. It is no longer generic. It is no longer what everybody is saying. I don't want to study in the UK just because UK offers 1 year masters. Everybody says that. But how is this important in your own journey, right? If you're able to connect yourself, put yourself in the story, your response will no longer sound generic. It will no longer sound vague. Now you have been able to personalize your response. Okay, so now I'll be giving it to Victoria to also, share part of the mistakes that she has seen her students makes along the way when they want to do their precast interview.
Okay. All right. So part of the mistake that I know that students, the reason why students fail is because they don't research on their course. We'll still go back to that. They don't research on their course. They don't research on the universities. If you want to go for a school, you need to make research about it, not other people giving you information. You yourself need to sit down and know that, okay, let me learn about this school. Let me know what it entails. Let me know about this course. So I think that's one of the things students do fail because they don't know the right words to use because they did not research on the course and they did not research on the university. And some of the students too, they give inconsistent information. When you don't research on your university that you want to go for, how do you want to give right information? So I think that's the common mistake students actually make whenever they are choosing their when during the precast interview. So that's it.
All right, so I'm going to like expatiate more on that inconsistency. So inconsistency can also be from, your application, your SOP, your CV, all the information has to align. Imagine you've written in your SOP that, oh, the reason why you
Yes.
want to choose this course is because of you have worked here, blah blah blah. And then on your CV, your work experience does not show that you have actually worked in that particular place. How do you think that would sound?
You're
That's
actually
going to
right.
sound like, oh, you're just lying or you don't know what you're talking about. So all of these things
What you are
has to
doing.
align. It has to be consistent. Whatever information that is on your application, whatever you've written on your SOP, and then your CV, everything just has to connect. It has to align. That way, you are providing a consistent information,
Align.
and they are not going to notice a pattern of inconsistency in your response, right? So, guys,
Yeah.
right now we're going to be sharing our real life experience, right? We deal with students every day, and then we have seen students, we have seen this kind of thing happen to students in real time. So my own experience was a student who was supposed to like proceed with us, but student has an habit of applying with different agencies, working with different agencies at the same time. So the student failed their precast interview and they had to come back to me. See, this is it. I failed my precast interview. And they failed just because the agency or whoever they were working with did not give them the right information. They know nothing about precast interview. They just did the interview and the student failed. So the student came back to us, and then I booked a session with the student with our precast interview team. They had a session with the students. They had mock interviews with the student to see how prepared the student is. And after the whole process, the students went ahead to do their precast interview and then they passed. That is like a real life, something I saw first and something that happens, right? So these are the things we say when we say, work with the people that would help you. Follow Uno road if you get what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
here at Team Consultancy, honestly, we just help you throughout the process. We help you, we give you all the right information so that you can also make your informed decision. Now, this is not just going to come from me. I'll allow Victoria also share our own real life experience as well. So you know that these things are actually happening.
All right. So there's this one of my students that I was working with. So she told me that this precast interview that I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how to go about it. Then I actually told her that you need to just calm down. Just calm down. Let me walk you through. So the thing I told her is in our team, we help you, do a mock interview with you. So you don't need to be scared. And I told her that okay, I think before you move to the mock interview, maybe we should have a one-on-one section. So actually, we actually did a video call that, okay, so these are the questions that they are going to ask you. So what do you think? Have you read this? So I actually went online, gave her different things to just get familiar with everything that they are going to ask her. So and when she did the mock interview, going down to the main interview, thank God she was able to, give full information. And I was even happy for her. I was like, oh, you made me proud. And that was it. It was success. It was a success, and I actually love it. So I actually prepared that. So do not worry. Our team consultancy will help you, we guide you. That's it.
All right, guys. So we are moving towards the end of today's live session. And if one thing, I'm very sure that you have gotten one or two valuable information from this live session today. So my one advice today is that know your story and make sure your story aligns, right? Know your story very well in the sense that know why you're choosing the course, know why you're choosing the university,
Yeah.
know why you're choosing the UK, and then know your plans after your study. Make sure your story connects, make sure your story aligns, right? And then precast interview is not something to be scared of, it is something to be prepared for. Remember my words very well. Precast interview is not something to be scared
At
of, it is
all.
something to be prepared for, right? Victoria, I would want you to, give advice to our audience on this live today and anybody that will be watching the replay much later. As a student counselor, as an international student counselor, what advice do you think you want to give students at this stage of their precast interview, students that are ready or maybe preparing to do their precast interview right now?
Okay. So one of the things I'm going to tell the students is prepare. Just prepare. Read about the school, know about your course, know everything about what you are going for. So I'll just say prepare 100%. Do not cram. Yes, know it. When you know, that's when you give full information. So know what you're actually doing. So you need to prepare. So 100% preparedness is what I would advise. Thank you.
Okay, so like I get, I'm going to like share one or two frequently asked questions that I get from the student, right? Oh, I'm a student with a very
Yeah.
strong profile. Do you think a student like me can fail my precast interview? So the truth is, the school has received your application. They have given you the offer. Why do you think they proceeded to give you an offer? That's because they see that you have a very good and strong profile, right? Now, back to the question of do
Yeah.
you think a student like me can fail the precast interview? The answer is yes. Even as a strong profile student, you can fail your precast interview if you are not prepared for the interview. Imagine you have that strong profile, but I mean, during the interview, you cannot defend your profile. If you know what I'm talking about, your profile is your certificate, your CV, the SOP you wrote, and all of that. And all of those things are paper. They are what's written on the paper, right? And then they want to now hear from you, the owner of those papers, if this paper and this person, if it is the
Exactly.
same person who has gathered all these qualifications, this experience and all of that. So imagine you have all of that and then you cannot defend those papers during your interview. So my answer is yes. Even as a strong profile student, you can still fail your precast interview. So one thing again is that a student would ask me that, okay, um why do the misconceptions people have about precast interview that I should talk about it, which I feel like this is something we've been talking about since morning, right? The misconception students have about precast interview is that, oh, you are going to fail, or oh, please make sure you do your interview before proceeding to pay your deposit and all of that. See, the truth is, if the process, because there are some schools that you need to just pass your interview before you can proceed to pay your deposit, and then some schools you can pay your deposit and then come back to preparing for your precast interview. So it depends on the school that you're working with. But my honest advice is that if you can proceed to pay your deposit to secure your space and then come back to properly prepare your precast interview. Because I just automatically feel like if you have paid for your deposit, you have paid your deposit, right? It gives you more ginger. Now you are compelled to passing your interview. Just know that at this point, I just have to pass this interview. So it helps you to
Yeah.
prepare very well, right? You're going to put in your all,
Interview.
knowing that, oh, I've paid deposit and I don't want anything happening, right? I don't want my application getting with my offer getting withdrawn or something. So you just want to proceed to do well so that you can now pass the interview, right? Those are the kind of questions we get from the students. And guys, we have come to the end of today's live. By next week, you are probably going to be seeing Victoria again, or maybe another face next week. So next week we're going to come here again to share more tips about study in the UK. For now, we'll be out. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me here. Bye.